Hi, my amazing planner people. It's Jess from My Magical Planner. Today I'm going to be planning out the week of January 16th through the 22nd in my Harriet Wright Designs inserts for my Aura Estelle using this beautiful kit from Sadie Stickers. It's called Little Things. This actually came in her advent calendar, not this last December that just passed, but the previous one. And I thought it was perfect because it's my daughter's birthday this week. It's also my son's girlfriend Carly's birthday this week, so I wanted to celebrate both of those. I've picked out a couple of additional things to go with that. The first thing I wanted to tackle were my day header deco. So I knew I wanted to use the day headers from the kit, but I also wanted to have kind of this almost scene at the top where it felt very birthday-ish. I was looking for something that kind of looked more like balloons in the background and stuff. So I decided to use the circle swatches that came with the kit. These are on transparent matte. And I'm just cutting them in half and I'm layering them along the top, because if I had put them on the bottom portion of that area, they would have been completely covered up by the day headers I'm going to use. So I cut two of them in half, and I'm making sure that I am placing an even amount of that color on both pages. So I'll use half on the first half of the week and half on the second half of the week to make sure that's pretty even. I left one of the circles for after I put the day headers on so that I could have a little bit more dimension if I wanted to. I will say if I were to do this again, I would probably pull in more individual day headers with just the script of the day, because I think I could have done a better job with that. I'm pulling in some date dots. These are from Sadie Stickers. I've had them for forever, so they're on white, but I felt like it was okay. The sizing was a little bit tight there, so I decided to kind of have them coming down below that header area and just kind of making that all part. I thought with the circles, it kind of again repeats that almost balloon shape and has some sparkle in there. So I thought it was really cute. So that's just me putting the last of those on. And then I wanted to incorporate some of these streamers. I think these are all from Sadie Stickers, but I don't use them very often, but I felt like this is a really good spot to put them. So I'm just going through and trying to figure out some different areas. I also wanted to have a little bit of floral up there, but not like a ton, because I wanted it to kind of flow throughout the entire kit. So I'm cutting the florals in half just because of spacing, and it allows me to kind of layer the same floral on top of itself like I did on that Tuesday one, and expand how far I can stretch those florals that came with the kit. There was a page of both purple florals and pink florals. I did kind of gravitate towards the purple first because I love that color and I liked the aspect of bringing it in. And then I'm just taking the streamers and trying to figure out where can I fill in with them. And I do cut them to various different lengths to make sure that there's more aesthetically pleasing aspects, because I think a lot of these really are similar in length. And so you can very easily just trim it down and make a shorter one. And it doesn't look like you've trimmed it down, but it makes it look much nicer because your eye is not just seeing a straight line. I also decided I wanted to put in some swoops in here. And the first one I tried out, I was like, oh, I don't think these ones are going to work. And those ones were from the Giving Girl. And I think they were just too delicate and not the right angle. Eventually, I remembered that I did have the Sadie Stickers ones that I have out here. I think these were freebies, to be honest. So once I get this floral down, I'm going to go and start pulling those in. And I liked how it filled in the space. The nice thing about these swoops from Sadie Stickers is you have different combinations to use, plus individual kind of pieces. There were also some dangle elements. I didn't end up using those because I have the streamers, but it allowed me to kind of play around with things a little bit more and not have everything look like an exact duplicate of the other area. I also pull in, as you can see here, one of the smaller swoops just to kind of finish out an arch, and I'm able to do that, and then I can use the rest of it to finish out some other arch areas, so make it look more complete, which was really nice. I definitely like the way that she had her sheet set up and it made things really easy. And it makes things more complete without feeling overwhelming, if that makes sense. I could have stopped here, but I decided I wanted a few more streamers on here just to kind of fill out the look, because I had a lot on the first part of the week, but not on the second part of the week. So I'm just pulling in a few more streamers and having them actually dangle down into the column below so that you're kind of being pulled down into that area and away from the top, which is really nice. So the swoops kind of bring your eye across and the dangles will bring your eye down. So it's a nice combination. The next thing I'm going to tackle is that sideboard. So I always do something kind of special up in the corner for my month header kind of area. And I decided I wanted to pull in these girls from the paper towel coat. They just felt like they really went with the kit. The colors were, a really amazing match. Plus, just the style of the girl just felt like it really fit. And then I wanted to pull in some bigger florals and kind of make a corner. This kind of draws your eye into the spread and frames everything up nicely. And it makes a really nice scene. I have a nice area here. I could have put a quote or anything, but I decided to just leave it blank, and I overlaid my script for the month there. This is me looking at my leftovers sheet. I went through my leftovers book and pulled some things out I thought I might want to use on this spread. And I was thinking I was going to use this week's script, but I really wanted to use this sign, and the two don't work together well. The one is too big for the other. So I had to go back through my book and find another this week's script. This one is from Paper Trail Plans and looks really, really nice. I also wanted to include a little bit of floral because this is a transparent sign. And so I just overlaid those together and then put them on the sign and was able to put it down all as one, which made it really easy to do. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull off some of the big list elements because I always want a Monday through Sunday for doing my meal planning. And I thought this would be a good time to put in kind of a to-do list or errands list. And then I was considering what I wanted to do with the space between them. I kind of wanted to do a scene, but I couldn't figure out which one. I thought about using these headers, but I really struggle with the header boxes. So I decided to pull that back off and just kind of lay in some florals to give me a little bit of pizzazz, for lack of a better way of putting it, right here. But I couldn't figure out which ones I wanted. So I'll layer in this one, and then I'm going to go and fill up my list while I'm thinking about what do I want to put in here in addition. It is really nice when you cut a floral in half like this that you can use it at the top and the bottom. For my to-do list this week, I have a couple of things. I put hang the lights in my office, which I wanted to finish doing, pick a book of a week. Make sure I was doing a donation day where I'm taking things from my house to the donation place. I have the hall closet, the tidy the craft area, and sort socks. That's pretty much all I put down there. So out of that stuff, I haven't hung the lights yet. So I'm going to do that tomorrow. And I haven't picked a book because I just haven't taken the time to sit down and do that, but everything else got done. Below that, I decided to pull in these boxes that are for my YouTube videos. So I can put the YouTube video name or topic there. And then I have check boxes below that give me film, edit, and upload. So I can just have those there. I have another planner where I track it more completely, but that gives me a good check-in point. Below that, I have my meals. So I went ahead and pulled in an icon from Crafts by Towie, layered on some flowers, and pulled in another Paper Trail Plan script that says menu planning. Our menu plan, I think. And the menu for this week kind of went off the rails, I'll be honest. It was supposed to be spaghetti, taco soup, hamburgers. We went to Olive Garden for Carly's birthday, chicken and rice, tacos, and leftovers. Most of that did not happen, just with the way everything fell out this week. Next, I'm going ahead and putting down my bottom wash sheet. Nothing really special here. I just put it down. I decided to use both strips. I did want to use something to add more definition to the top of this, so I knew where that border was because it is such a light pink. So I pulled in these Sadie sticker trims. I'm pretty sure I got these in an Oops. They're just simple lines with little bows on them. Really nice, and they're very versatile. Now I'm going to pull out the no school script because my kids had no school on Monday, and I'm using a leftover box. I believe this was from Miss Meow. And I thought that the colors again went really well, and I liked the style of the circle. I did realize that if I used it just for that I may not have enough space for some of the other things. So I'm pulling in my Martin Luther King Day script and putting at the top. So the two are kind of connected, and I thought it worked really well. I didn't want to pull in any more florals because I felt like that corner was already so busy, but I did want the circle shape because it's repeating some elements that are already going on. I did also pull in just a little bit of the squiggles, like the streamers, to add in there for a little extra foil. Next, I knew I wanted to mark some cleaning stuff because we have the cleaners coming on Tuesday, but I need to get the house prepared for that. I started to pull some things out and realized, oh, I haven't put down my full boxes. I need to do that first. So that's what I'm going back and doing right now, is pulling in just 2 full boxes for this side of the week. I didn't want to overwhelm the spread, and I'm kind of cutting down on the amount of full boxes that I'm using a little bit. And I like placing them between the 2 columns, so I'm getting some on both. What I did decide to do, because I've been struggling with these headers, as I said. So I'm using them here to frame out one of the boxes and bring more attention to it. So I'm just taking the headers and kind of laying them around these sides. I can mostly do this with full headers, and I could have stopped at this point where I have both corners kind of framed out, and you could just have those openings, and that sometimes looks really nice. But in this instance, I really wanted the full frame, and it's really easy to line these aspects up. You just got to be really precise when you're matching these additional little strips and make sure that you have everything lined up really nicely before you trim anything off, because once you trim, it's really hard to fix. So you'll see me here just kind of lining up a little bit better and making sure, because I had a little bit of an overlap, which gave me a slight bump there. And I didn't really want that. It would distract your eye. And yeah, I thought it would be more noticeable that way. So I'm just spending some extra time making sure that that's lined up correctly before I trimmed it. So once I had it trimmed, I did want to add some additional aspects. So I'm pulling in here more of that trim. I'm just using the smaller portions that were pre-trimmed to do the top and the bottom. And then I'm using a larger leftover strip here to do the sides. And it worked really nicely. And even though those bows are on the side here, I think it works really well. I'm also going to be layering some stuff into that box to use it more functionally and not just decoratively. To do that, I'm going to go ahead and pull out a film script that I can layer in here. And I did use the paper trail plan ones. I accidentally grabbed the side that had the plan with me little script below the film. And so I cut that off, and then I knew I wanted some kind of icon to go on here with it. I did decide to use the Crafts by Towie camera icon. I just felt like it went really well with the feel of this kit and the script I was using. And I really like the way that it was kind of dual purpose. I could use it both for Monday and Tuesday because it's between those 2 columns. I still wanted to add on something to indicate cleaning and stuff, but I couldn't figure out what. So I went ahead and just started putting down boxes for the remainder of set things that I knew I had this day. The first of which is Megan's therapy. So I just put down a box, and I thought maybe I wanted an icon to go over it, but I couldn't locate the icon I wanted at the time. And I decided that maybe I just put a floral there, and that's fine. And with layering a little bit of foliage down there and the flower, it made it look like a more cohesive grouping, since I did have that cut off flower in the sidebar column. And it was kind of a nice aspect and draws the 2 together a little bit. And by moving on to the next aspect, it freed my brain up to go, oh, I have these circles or different shapes that I can layer in up here to have something for the laundry and other things that I wanted to get done. And it was just a matter of figuring out the right thing. So I started to play around with that. And there are a lot of different shapes you can use in different colors. I had this leftover icon. I think this was from Hello Petite paper, which was a laundry basket. So I layered that on top of a circle. I figure I don't really need a script for that because I know what it's going to be. And then I also wanted to mark that I needed to post on Instagram, which I haven't been the greatest about lately. So I went ahead and pulled in an Instagram icon, and I'm using another Paper Trail Plans post on Instagram script there. I need to get more of those. I think they were a custom script, so I'm not sure she still has them in the shop, but I'm hoping that she'll bring them back soon. And then below the Megan's Therapy, I'm going to mark her lesson. So I'm going ahead and using a full-size box. This is my first full column width box of the column. And I thought it was a nice, now we've moved past all of this other stuff where you're bouncing back and forth to just have something completely across. I used another Crafts by Towie icon there. Those are the skates. I really stocked up on those over Christmas and marked Megan's lesson there. Below that, I am going to mark just a general cleaning. I'm using one of the arrows from the kit, and then this smaller arrow that says clean is from Harriet Wright Designs, although I think she no longer makes them. I absolutely adore them. They're the perfect size. And I added just a little greenery below it to give me some more color down there at the bottom of the page. And then I'm using one of the Panda Bird Designs half circles and putting in Ethan's work. Now I did pull in just a little bit of floral with this as well because I didn't want it just white there at the bottom. I did have some trouble figuring out which floral I wanted, but eventually I do figure it out. And just this really simple little flower, I placed it down there and then trimmed it so it wasn't overlapping the divider I had there at the bottom. Then I'm going to move on to Tuesday, and I decided to place down all the things that I knew for sure were happening. So I'm going to start with the house cleaners by putting the square kind of between the two floral boxes, and that is a sticker glue icon that I put in there. I'm now cutting up my script. It says clean the house, and because this is people coming in to clean my house, I just want it to say house. Well, I really want it house cleaners, but instead it says house clean. And that's kind of what they come in and do. Some weeks they come in the morning and some weeks in the afternoon. This week they were coming in the afternoon. So that's where I put it. And then below that, I needed to do a grocery run, but these flags are a little bit long for me. So I went ahead and overlaid the script on it first and then trimmed it down so it wasn't as long because I thought that would be a little bit nicer. And I wanted to bring in that circle aspect again. So I'm putting another one of those circles that I used on Monday down at the bottom. And I'm going to use this to say I need to upload everything because I wanted to make sure I was good for later in the week. And that particular script, I believe, was from Meg B Makes, and the icon is from Oh Hello Paper. Then I'm going to go back in and put a box at the top to put in a few things that I knew I needed to do as well. At this point, that's mostly a placeholder box. I'm going to come back in later and fill in what I want there, but I'm going to move on to Wednesday and get down the things that I knew had to be here. The first thing I'm going to do is mark actually from the bottom up because the most important thing this day was a meeting that took place in the evening. This was a meeting for Daniel, my second oldest. He is thinking about doing something called early middle college, in which he would start doing college next year as a junior. But there's a lot of hoops you have to jump through to do it, and he's just not sure. He's either going to do that or dual enrollment. So I wanted to make sure I had that down. And because of the timing of that, his trombone tutor is going to be right before it. So I was trying to figure out timing and how are we going to make that all work. So I wanted to make sure I marked that down first and had both of those in place. And then I'm continuing to work backwards. So the previous thing that would happen would be Megan had a dentist appointment that she needed to go to, just a general dental cleaning. And then the thing that would happen before this, the only other scheduled thing, at least at this point, because even though I had made this, I pre-plan my weeks and everything, things don't always go as planned. So the previous thing would be my therapy. So a little bit of story time on Friday, which was Friday the 13th and everything. I had gone out and ran some errands, donated some things. I came back home to kind of get everything all settled. And my husband, no more than 15 minutes after I get home, goes, I'm going to go jump my truck. It's not starting. So he pulls my van out and he goes to jump the truck and he opens the hood of my van, and there laying on the engine, kind of on top of the reservoir for like your windshield washer fluid and stuff, is this kitten. It's just this little black kitten, and it got so terrified it jumped into the hot engine. And it's not super tiny. It's like that in-between stage. The Humane Society put it at about 4 months. So it's kind of in that in-between stage and got terrified, jumped into the engine itself. And so then we spent like an hour trying to get this cat out. I thought it was stuck. It wasn't stuck. It was just scared. And it was meowing, and it sounded like it was saying hello. It was so cute. Anyhow, we eventually get the thing out, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. So I'm like, okay, Ethan and Carly's his girlfriend. I'm like, take the cat to the Humane Society. You know, they'll look for a chip, and, you know, maybe somebody's reported him or something. So I have them take them to the Humane Society. Fast forward, they're like calling every day to check on this cat, pleading with us, like, can we have a cat? I have horrible allergies. I can't have a cat. So what we ended up doing is finally we were like, look, we will pay the adoption fees and everything if you can find this cat a good home, because nobody's coming forward to say, hey, it's my cat. And, you know, in the meantime, they're giving it its shots and getting it neutered. They chipped it and a lot of other things. So eventually Carly convinces her parents to let her have a cat. And so for her birthday, I had adopted a cat for her. And so on Wednesday, I actually ended up going and picking up this cat and making sure that it had everything it needed and everything. And they have doted on this cat since. Like, her and Ethan, like, they looked up what breed they think it is. They think it's a Bombay. And so it's super sweet, and they just carry this little cat around with them and they play with him. It's really sweet. It's unclear if somebody dropped him off out here or how he ended up in my car engine and everything, but we've looked, we haven't been able to find an original owner or anything. And without him being chipped and stuff, I just have no idea how long he had been in my engine. Hopefully not long. Anyhow, let's get back to planning. So on Thursday, I'm again just going through and putting down all of the set items. I will come back and fill in some of those spaces with things that I can fit in. So I had lunch with my sister on this day, which was really nice. And so I went ahead and marked that. Below, I did mark Emily's therapy with another Crafts by Towie icon, Megan's lesson, and Carly had a birthday dinner, which was us and her parents. We all went out to Olive Garden, which was really nice. And so I went ahead and marked that with the hat that came in the kit and some florals. Now moving on to the rest of the week, I realized that I didn't put down any decorative boxes. So I went back through and I put those down. And I also, you just saw the camera jump there because it ran out of battery. So I did put down planning time at the top. That planner icon is from the kit, and the planning time is from Sticker Guru. So because the other frame worked so well, I made this insane decision that I wanted to do a frame over on this side as well, around the box that says celebrate the little things. But this time I wanted that miter edge that kind of you see on most frames. So I'm like, oh, this won't be hard. Famous last words, right? It was a little bit more complicated than I thought it was. I've done it before with washi tape, and that's really easy. But with these and getting them all lined up correctly, especially since you have these overlapping, you're missing pieces, and so you have to fill in with other pieces. If you just had 2 solid pieces, it's not too bad, but having to piece together other spots is a little bit harder, and then making sure you cut it and that the stickers aren't sticking to each other too much. But it did in the end come out, and I'm really happy with it. It looks really nice. I did kind of go around that area where it's connected to another box, so I didn't have to do one edge, which was nice. But I decided to call it good with one frame. I thought about doing more, but yeah, decided it was good. Besides that, the floral trim or the floral dividers don't seem to work as well for this type of method. It looks a little bit too busy, at least to me. The next thing I wanted to do was add a payday script to Friday. I was kind of struggling with what kind of box I wanted and finally decided I still have one of these headers left that I'd used on the first part of the week. So I used the header actually as a box and just added a little bit of floral and the script there. I made the script so it was kind of going over the top because it wasn't going to fit nicely like in the box, and this way it looks intentional instead of a mistake. Then I'm going to go ahead and just pull in a little bit of florals. I put a shopping bag here. I wanted to go gift shopping on this day. Didn't really happen, mostly because of that cat incident. Things were just a little up in the air and some other things needed to get done. I don't think I got the Instagram post I wanted to get out on Thursday done either because of this, but I did mark that it was actually Carly's birthday on this day. I just pulled in some florals and kind of tucked a cupcake there behind it. I'm not positive but that might be a Crafts by Towie cupcake. It was in the leftovers book, so I'm not positive. And then I'm just pulling in a full-size box that I'm going to overlay a organized script to help me remember to get all of the things on my little list over there done. Plus, I'm trying to figure out, maybe that was going to be my donation day. I just knew I wanted to do something as far as that list went. Below that, I do put in another box because I wanted to make sure that I was taking time for me. And so I wanted it to be something I could do, and decided to bring in this little stack of books and say it was going to be book night. I was totally going to read. And then I totally didn't feel good. And so that didn't happen. Instead, I went to bed. But, you know, aspirations, right? And then on Saturday, which is today actually, so I'm going through and putting some things in. The first thing I'm putting in is Megan's birthday party. So it's really not a party. She's having one friend over for a sleepover, and it's just going to be a nice, quiet little thing. They want to do some online game. Well, they play this game Genshin, which is online. And so they're going to do that tonight and have a lot of fun with that. I did trim down a full-size box. I folded it in half to get kind of a halfway point and then cut it there. I did have to do some additional trimming and then overlaid a floral to mark her skating this morning. Dan has work tonight, so I have that marked down at the bottom. I use the food icon since he works in a restaurant down there. And Ethan's new desk, which we ordered for Christmas for him, like the bottom of it arrived a couple days after we ordered it, but the top did not arrive until this morning. So he gets to put his desk together today. He's really excited about that. And I'm excited for him. Then tomorrow, I wanted to do something special to mark Megan's birthday. And I realized I'd pulled in all of these circle elements for the first part of the week, but not so much for the second part of the week. So I pulled in this leftover circle that I had and overlaid a happy birthday script. I kind of wish that that was on white paper actually, so you could see it a little better, but it will be her 13th birthday. Heaven help me, I'll have 3 teenagers, although my oldest just turned 18 not too long ago. So do we count him as a teenager still? Or is he an adult? I'm not really sure. I'm not sure if I'm ready to be sure. And then I'm also marking that it's Lunar New Year. I think it's really cool that her birthday is on Lunar New Year. I need to look at some more things about Lunar New Year for her because she really likes Chinese culture. She's actually been taking Chinese every year in school, so she can speak a little bit of it. It's kind of the beginner level that they start with in kindergarten, so it's not a ton, but it's kind of cool. Anyhow, and then I'm marking Dan has to work on Sunday, so I put that in with a little coffee cup because I like the way it looked. And then I'm also going to mark that I need to do my upload tomorrow, which will maybe happen today. Maybe I'll be ahead of schedule for once. But there's that. And then I'm just going to go in and fill in some other areas, add in some more florals and that kind of thing. But that's pretty much it for the week. If you guys have any questions about anything, go ahead and leave me a comment down below. But I hope you guys are having a fabulous week. And that's all I have for today. So until next time, I'll see you guys real soon.
If I wrote you a song, if I got every word perfectly weighted on a thin piece of paper, would it make any difference? Would it change for the better? If I wrote you a poem, if I posted a letter? Is it maybe because I never knew quite where I was, then suddenly you told me, baby, you're lost, but I am too. Whatever the cost, we'll make it through. Tell me you're the one for me now, 'cause what am I supposed to do? If you are not the one for me, then tell me now what I could do. If I told you that I don't know where I'm going, don't know what to say, but I go without knowing. If I told you that I don't know what to believe in, don't know how to pray, but I pray anyway. Tell me you're the one for me now, 'cause what am I supposed to do?